Yeah, very
One,
slow.
and
You know how
we
to
are
press record in the morning?
live. Pew 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 pew.
My brother. First of all, a little behind the scenes for people who listen to this. We did a podcast 2 weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
I think almost exactly 2 weeks ago, and the audio was shit, right? Because it's the first time we've had an actual issue with with OBS and the connection, where it was just shit on both sides.
Yeah, yeah.
So that podcast we had to throw in the trash. So this is our first like official podcast back in 2 weeks. How have you been, you little bitch? Is that a shark? Is that a shark T-shirt, or is that a
Daddy,
marlin?
Daddy Shark.
What is it?
I think it's a shark.
That okay? Don't call it that. Don't refer to it as Daddy Shark on this.
Come on,
Don't do that.
huh? I am Daddy,
How you been, man?
Daddy Shark.
No, not calling you. How much have you
I
been
didn't say I
drinking?
was. I didn't say I was your daddy. I mean, as much as you would like that to be the case.
Nope.
How
No,
much
that
have
would
I
be weird.
have? How much have I been
4 months
drinking
old.
already
You're
before the
4 months
show?
old. You're 4 months older than me. The fuck? You're 4 months older than me. How would that work?
4 months. Come on, dude. You know math. March
You're
to
th-
November. Let's do the math.
yeah, that's 4 months. That's
Yeah,
4 months.
11
Do the
and
math.
3.
Yeah.
The 11th month and the third month.
Yeah.
I was born.
11,
Wasn't I
12,
born a year
1,
ahead of
2.
you though? Like a year and a half? I thought
You're
I was.
37.
Are
You're
you 37
37,
too?
right?
Are you about to be
No, I'm
37?
36.
Oh, I thought you were about to
I'm
be.
about to be 37.
I thought you were about to be
God damn, I
36.
feel. No. I wish.
Oh,
No. First of all, who I take that back. I don't. Who would wish to be 36?
hey, I'm
But
just.
yeah,
There you go. I was trying to get. I was
dude,
giving
how
you
weird
credit.
is? I felt oldish. I feel old as shit like having that kind of discussion.
Yeah.
Like, how old are you? 36, 37? Like,
The
we're
fact
a hop,
that
skip, and a
we
jump from
don't
40,
know.
bro.
Shit, we're. Yeah.
God.
God damn.
Oh man. Oh, so real quick. So this is a catch up, right? So remember what we talked about on the last show, the one we actually posted or the one we didn't post? Don't remember. When I was thinking about getting cornrows or braids, because I'm
Yeah,
letting my hair grow and all that stuff. My wife tells me it's probably a bad idea because it pulls back your hairline. It's like,
it
what?
does.
I never heard of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Googled it. That's the first thing I said. I was like, well, there it goes. Because I'm already struggling to hold on to it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, if you see it, like you can't really tell, but like right here up in the front, it's a little thinner.
yeah,
Yeah. So I was like, nah, that's gonna be a no for me, dog. So that got canceled immediately. Like
yeah. Because
I
you
was
have a
hyped about it
six
for like
head
eight
instead of a
days.
four head. You have a six head.
Yeah, and then I realized like all the people I saw growing up, like AJ from 106 in Park, he had like dreads.
Yeah, and
After
it's
he
just
cut
back
them
here.
off, he can never grow his hair back again. Yeah, and it's just back there. So I was like, oh, okay, then canceled immediately, just like that. So then I was hyped for like 8 days. Like, oh, I was looking for like random old black women that braid. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like online and all this shit. Like, no.
We
I was
Yeah,
like,
we were
I was
talking
like,
about that, and I didn't mention that
man,
to
for
you
a while.
because well, I mean, I didn't think it was gonna be a long term thing for you. I figured you're gonna do it and then let him, eventually take him out. But yeah, it does do that. That's
Yeah,
why you see that a lot in you see it in the black community. You see a lot of black women with like
yeah,
a really high like hairline because it's pulling back your hair, and eventually that I mean
your
your
hair.
hairline's
Yeah.
already creeping back on its own anyway. You don't need to.
It's LeBronin. It's LeBronin for sure. And
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
notice
getting a
that shit
lace
in the
front.
army. You
So
remember? I don't know if you like, women have to wear their hair back and stuff, and wear it in a
yeah,
bun or
yeah.
whatever, or wear it down, but it can't be past their shoulders. So the ones that wear it in a bun,
hmm
they have that shit tight, like so tight back, like
So tight.
it looks like
Yeah, you
it's
see that with
holding
like
on for dear life. And imagine
yeah, it looks
someone
like
that
it
does
hurts.
20 years and they wear their hair like that every single day to work. That shit's gotta like,
That's fun.
yeah, you're destroying your hairline.
Yeah, no. So I was like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, nah, I'm cool. Like I'm gonna keep letting it grow and see what happens. Like I even thought about shape, like just cutting it back down, but I was like, nah, because then I don't know what my hairline is gonna look like. Because here I don't think it looks like it's bad, right? Just being real, like it's an honest conversation about male, not male pattern baldness, just a receding hairline. And because I'm thinking at 40, this is gonna be rough right here, like right in the
Yeah,
front. So I'm just gonna it's gonna be a rough one. I'm have to figure out the John concoction of like berries and fruits and shit
that's
to
right.
get it to come
I still
back.
haven't made that. Yeah, I was talking about that on the last podcast that we didn't post. I still haven't made
Yeah,
that. I mean, the one I use now is one that I made with beeswax, but the next one is not going to have any. It's going to be more of a paste. I'm coming
yeah,
for the
yeah.
title, Josh. Just letting you know. Coming for the title.
It's never gonna happen, bro.
All right.
Unc, the,
I
he's
think.
not. Even, I
Hey,
was gonna say
this
the
this is the
uncrowned
year,
king.
Josh. This
He's
is
the king.
2020. This is
Anything can happen.
LeBron with Kyrie, and Golden State is gonna have a
Game 7.
meltdown. You are this 2020. You are
He would be Golden
the
State.
Draymond Green. You're about to have a meltdown, and I'm gonna take that title.
You're, you're ridiculous. If anything, he'd be like the Klay Thompson, right? He'd be like the Klay Thompson, just kind of figuring it out, scoring 60 points in a quarter and shit.
I know.
Wild shit like that. That just still doesn't make sense. Like they were talking about that the other day on ESPN. It was like, oh yeah, he had like 30 some points in a quarter. Like you forget that because we haven't seen him
Hmm.
since like the 2019 finals, which were like 2 years ago. It feels like, but I was like, fuck, man. Like, goddamn, we forget how great they are. I got my money on Golden State, bro. Like, I two best shooters of all time. That's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
And now with Russell saying he wants out of Russell Westbrook saying he wants out of Houston, it's a wrap. Golden
You
State,
think he goes? You
LA
think he goes
Lakers.
to Golden State?
No, I don't think he'll go to Golden State because I don't know where he'd fit. He's too selfish to play on that team.
Yeah.
He needs to go to like he needs to probably go to like I trade him to like Indianapolis, a team like that nobody cares about, and he can just do whatever he wants because he clearly just care. Like it's almost like he only cares about his own stats.
Hey, you got to stack up those
Because what,
triple
like
doubles, man.
yeah, exactly. Enjoy those triple doubles with no rings, and you'll become a stat yourself. Like oh, what player never won a title but had four triple double seasons? Russell Westbrook. That's all he'll be remembered for if he goes like this. Sometimes you got to get a ring, bro. You got to be a champ at some point.
Yeah, man.
You
With
got
all
to
that
be.
talent, can you imagine like if you went to Portland? They already have Dame over there, but Dame
Hmm.
is well, they
They hate
both
each
are.
other, don't they?
What's that?
I think they hate each other. I think they hate each other.
They probably do, but can you imagine if you have one
Yeah.
or the other on the court at any given time, or both at the same time?
Hmm.
The offense has got to run
Yep.
through, but the offense runs either through Dame or through Westbrook. So it
Russ.
can't. They both
Yeah.
wouldn't be able. I don't know. I'm sure they'd make it work, but at this,
Yeah,
it's
but
not
that's the
like
thing.
it's
Like
not
he's
like
with
Steph and Clay where they can both be in the court at the same time and the offense flows, smoothly.
normal. Yeah, that's true. You got to be unselfish though. Like you can't have two selfish superstars, no matter how good they are. I think that's the problem we're seeing with Philly, right? Like you have Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid,
Yeah,
two stars slash superstars, however you want to grade them, and they can't coexist. Like that team should be a lot better than they are. Like no matter who you put around them, that team should be better.
that's true.
But they're not because you have two selfish stars.
Yeah,
So
but there's also a huge
how
problem
random
that
is
I've
that?
taken more threes in the NBA than Ben Simmons has, and I think I've probably made more than he has too.
Yeah,
That just he
I think
will
the only
not.
ones he's ever
He
had is like
will not. He's got
he
like
won't
five.
outside of
Has he attempted five?
yeah,
Maybe a little bit more,
it
but it's
maybe,
ridiculous.
bro. But if you kind of, I don't even think they've been like in the offense. They've been like end of quarter shots. You know what I mean? So it's not has any. I don't even think it's been like real like in rhythm threes. I don't think he shoots outside of 6 feet. Like if he's not dunking or laying it up, he's not taking that shot.
Hey man,
So
he's just trying to bring it back to old school
yeah,
basketball.
yeah, no 3 pointers at all. There wasn't even that line for a 3 pointer.
Yeah,
How crazy is that?
but you
Seem
know
like
what's
those
crazy?
old
Look,
games.
he's at least that's what his shot is within the 10 feet. Because the worst shot you can take is someone that is a foot inside the 3 point line that kills me. They constantly take that long range too.
Oh yeah,
I
it
I
doesn't make
get it if
sense.
that's your shot and that's like your range and that's where you're comfortable at. But does it hurt you to take one more step back? Especially if that's not your
Yeah,
shot and you're not shooting 50%. Look, Simmons is shooting over 50% from inside the paint. From where that's fine, that's efficient.
yep.
But these guys that aren't, just take that one step back.
Yeah,
What's it
take
gonna
the
hurt?
step back, man. Let it happen. Yeah. How crazy is that? We won't even talk about that. But yeah. So what the hell have you been up to in the time? I mean, I know what the fuck you've been up to, but catch up
Not
to like
voting?
the 35 people. Yeah, that was a big thing.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about that in a second in the next segment. But so I took a break. I took a week off from work,
Mm-hmm.
and then this week was crazy with the storm or whatever.
Yeah.
So last week we did like day trips all over Florida, right? Like not I don't like we did like different things. We went to like IKEA, we went to Alexander Springs, we went to different little hiking areas and shit like that. So we went to Alexander Springs. You could almost consider it the highlight for me because the water is like 72 degrees, crystal fucking clear, bro. Which
Okay.
I'm cool with because I don't like being in like fresh water where like it might get murky,
It's
fuck around, and
murky.
there's a
Yep.
gator in it. Yeah, and then I
It is
die,
Florida.
and it's a wrap. That is Florida. So we go crystal clear water, and then I'm there because like I didn't know what to expect, so I went unprepared. I should have had like snorkels, you know what I mean,
Right.
goggles, and like the flippers, so I could like really see some shit. So like there's these group of kids, like I guess so the water comes from underground, where like it stays level or whatever,
Okay.
and so like you could there's a hole where you could see where the water's coming from, and like all these kids and parents are like, oh my god, it's so cool. I was like, I had complete FOMO. I was like, fear of missing out. I was like, fuck, man, I want to see where the water's coming out from, but it was a little bit too far. I was like, I don't feel, and there was like nothing. I was like, I don't feel comfortable swimming
You're not a
all
swimmer?
the way out there to then. I know I'm a swimmer, but I'm not gonna like swim out there and then float and then like not see nothing because I don't have, I mean, my snorkels. Because it was probably like the people said it was like 6 to 8 feet down. So I was like, I'm not going down there with like no breath out. So I was like, fuck that. I was like, I'm coming back here though, and I'm definitely doing that shit.
We went,
Definitely.
yeah, when we went to visit you guys earlier this summer, we stopped at this place when we were in Marlin. We went to Devil's Den, and it's like,
Never heard of it.
yeah, it's waters. They said it was 72 degrees. I don't know. I think it was cold as shit. So it definitely felt like it was colder than 72 degrees.
Yeah, it was cold.
And I mean, they
Mm-hmm.
they give you you rent a scuba gear, or you can rent scuba gear, and they take groups to scuba down there because you take the steps down into this cave, um, and you can either rent a snorkel and
Oh
flippers or
yeah,
a scuba gear.
yeah.
Shit is freezing. It's cold, period. And then you get in the water, but it goes, I don't know, 40, 50 feet. Like there's a little platform when you get to the bottom
Jesus.
of the steps. But if you're standing on the platform, the water, at least to me, it's already like maybe waist high. Um,
Okay. Okay. All right.
but
But real quick, I like how you rubbed your chest and
yeah,
go maybe waist high.
I know. I was like, let
Um,
me change
uh,
the depth of the water while I'm standing on the platform. I don't need to set this fucker up for another joke. But
oh my gosh, it was funny.
yeah, and then once you step
Oh,
off the platform, it's like 40 or 50 feet. So we went down there. We had the GoPro. Um, Javi and I and Mel and like Marlon and his wife. They were, yeah. You snorkel around and you take a couple deep breaths and then dive under. So
yeah.
I'm 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 surprised. I mean, Javi's fearless. Like he's out there. He just it took him a minute, but then
And he's
after
young.
that, he
Yeah.
got off the platform. He's like, let's go, let's get under the platform. I'm like, nah, dude, you're not that competent of a swimmer. I mean, maybe you are,
Yeah.
but yeah,
I'm not that comfortable with you thinking you're that
yeah,
competent. Yeah.
yeah,
'Cause then it gets
exactly.
crazy. Yeah. He's still because he's brave, but you gotta still be like, hey man, let's simmer down here. Like motherfucker wants to try parkour or some shit. All right,
Yeah,
cool, man, but you're
I'm
still
all for
12.
it. I
No, we're
gotta
not.
tell him to do some of that stuff. Like he's all about it because Mel, is the more overprotective of us, and I gotta
Yeah.
tell her, she'll guilt trip me into some stuff. Like, well, what about this? I'm like, look, there's been child molesters everywhere. We can't just not let him go ride
Jesus.
his bike.
What?
They're
Hold on.
like,
Wait
like
a second.
no, I'm just saying, like that'll be the one thing that comes up. Like, hey, can I
What?
go to my friend's house? Can I walk or ride my bike or
Right.
whatever? And that's the one thing, right?
Right.
Because that's what we see. Hell, we have the app, or you can go on Google or go to the website and see all the registered child molesters in your neighborhood. And so that's the
Right.
number one reason. I'm like, I get it. People get abducted, but
Mm-hmm.
that can happen. That can happen anywhere. That can happen anytime. We can't just not let them go out because we
Can't
have
let
that
him. Yeah.
fear.
Can't
I,
unfear.
God forbid that
Yeah.
happens, because then I'm gonna be the one that's like, see what happened. It's your
Yes,
fault,
you would be the one.
and I don't need anyone to
Yeah,
tell me
it's a
that.
hundred
I
percent
wouldn't
your
need her
fault.
to tell me that. I would just be
Yeah,
like, I'm a piece of shit.
yeah.
But
Remember seeing that movie Ransom with Mel Gibson, where
mm-hmm.
like he's like a rich dude. Like
Yep,
that's who you would be. Like you'd
exactly.
be the asshole.
That would be the
Like oh,
asshole.
he'll be fine, and then something happens.
Mm-hmm.
God, first of all, terrible segue. Oh, dude, there's child molesters everywhere. We're like, what the fuck? Oh, we were just talking about snorkeling and scuba diving. What kind of devil's den in this is this?
The real devil's den.
The real
Better have your
devil's den.
scuba shorts on tight, or better have your shorts on
Oh
tight.
my god. But yeah, man, yeah, dude, the water was cold as fuck. Like
Mm-hmm.
definitely, like there was people there that were wearing like the scuba suits. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like the water, like like scuba suits are very similar to like waders, where like there's water, but you're not actually feeling the coldness of the water.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember I went fishing with waders in Arkansas for rainbow trout fishing when I was training. Right, water was way colder, way colder because it was like a dam, probably about 600-700 feet away.
Yeah.
So the water was like supposed to be like, so we're fishing there. Like, oh, yo, this water is cold as shit. Like you could feel that it's cold, but you're not getting wet, so it's cool. But I was like, oh, this is cold as shit. I was like, well, next time I'm coming prepared. So I got home. I bought my. I went on Walmart because everything's off season, right? Because it's winter,
Right.
quote unquote. So I got like a kit was like the fins, a snorkel, and the fucking goggles. And of course, I had to get extra large because it has to go around my big ass head. So I made sure that I got that done. So I was like, all right, I'm ready. I was like, let's go whenever. Like I'm ready to go fucking next week. If I'm off on Monday, I'm fucking going because I want to see that shit again. And you know, you could go different places. Like there's places where you could like swim with manatees and shit like that.
Right.
It's cool to get out of the house, especially like in this wild ass time. Just got to do something, man.
Yeah, that's the only downside of, having an actual winter over here. I can't do any of that stuff. I mean, I gotta prepare myself
Yeah,
just to
that's
go
true.
ride my bike in the. I want to go ride it in the
Mm.
snow just to see, just because I have the fat tires or the plus size tires. But I'm not
Right.
looking forward to riding that shit in like 30 or 20 degree weather. It's just not.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But you got to do something, right? Because I mean, we go right into the first segment here. Um, it's weird where like you have to do something to keep from going crazy, right? Like this week we had like a random ass storm and hurricane,
Mm-hmm.
and now you know what I mean. With all the talks, if you watch the news, like that we're getting a dictator, but it's weird. Like I think the weirdest thing is, and we don't have to get into the particulars of like how he's 0 for 12 in court cases,
Yeah.
doesn't have any actual proof in any state. The fact that he's trying to argue 30 votes when he lost by 40,000. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to get into any of the particulars. The fact that all of his lawyers go to court and they go, hey, we have no proof and that there's any kind of voter fraud. I don't want to talk about that, right? We're going to brush that right up under the rug.
Okay.
But the fact that, like, people believe it, you know what I mean? People believe it with zero proof, with just some shit he's tweeting because he hasn't even had a press conference. The former president of the United States cannot handle his loss.
I mean,
Is he the worst loser of all time,
he
bro?
is still the president of the United States. He is still the president.
Till January 20th, right? Yeah,
Right.
yeah. But I'm saying there's a president elect now because he caught that serious L on November 3rd, which I know you didn't vote. I mean, I don't give a shit. Whatever. But your state didn't even end up being close. Trump won that shit easily.
And it hasn't been. I've looked at the history of it because I was, Ohio was known as a swing state or like a state that determines the presidency. That's not the case. It hasn't been for quite a few elections now. There are
Hmm.
they are a red state. I mean, it was
Yes.
53 to 46 or something, and it's another, third parties or whatever got everything else, but it wasn't close. This is a red state.
No.
I live in a red. Well,
Yep.
I live in a I live in a blue county,
In the red
but
county.
in the reddest area of this blue county. Neighbor still has the
Yeah.
Trump 2020 flag up. He might still have
Hmm.
that
So does mine.
5 6 months into next year. Who knows? But I mean, it is what it is. I didn't, like I said, I'm not complaining one way or the other. I like to just kind of make observations because I didn't vote,
Yep.
and I
Right.
you know how people say, well, if you didn't vote, you can't complain. No, I can complain because I live in this country. I can do whatever the fuck I want to do as I'm not infringing on your
True.
rights. But I'm not complaining.
Facts.
Uh, but the truth is that he took that L. He lost both the popular vote and as
Yep.
long as nothing changes between now and like the middle of December, the electoral college vote.
Hmm.
So he lost both.
Yep.
But again, he still garnered over 70 million% or 70 million votes. Like there are still 70 million
Yep.
people or plus that
Yep.
support him or tolerate his views. So regardless
70
of
million
whoever,
losers.
yeah, but I mean, there's still quite a few people that still feel a certain way. He is the face of the
Yeah,
Republican
no.
Party, right? He is. I
100%.
remember
He owns
Ted
all
Cruz
that.
said he was gonna run. This was like a few days afterwards that he was gonna run in 2024, and then Trump said, "Well, if I don't win, I'm running in 2024." And then Ted Cruz did a 180 and said, "Well, I'll support you again."
Hmm.
This is the dude that
Well, Ted
who
Cruz is a cuck, like for
yeah,
real.
Trump called his wife ugly or an ugly cow or whatever the hell, I
Yeah.
don't know the exact words. And
Said
he
that
just
his
took it.
dad
And then he started making
has said
phone
that
calls
his
for him.
dad yeah, he said that his dad like had something to do with the JFK assassination because he knew Jack Ruby
Yeah.
like all this shit. And Ted Cruz started phone banking. Ted Cruz has no place. Look, we we talk about this shit all the time, but like Republicans are so much better at politics, bro. Like just like
No, that their
observationally,
marketing,
like
their
they're
their
at their
messaging is on
messaging
point. Yeah.
is brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it is so like Democrats are so pathetic,
They are.
so just embarrassing, bro. Like they just stay quiet, say nothing. Like I couldn't tell you three things that Joe Biden stands for. I like, and I was having this conversation yesterday with one of the nurses that's like a super Trump supporter. She's in her like late 70s. She's like, "Why did you vote for Joe Biden?" I was like, "Because I don't like fascists. Like, it's just, you know what I mean, like, I don't like dictators. Like, I'm cool. Like, I
Right.
was in a country that had a military dictator that got overthrown by the U.S. government. I'm cool on that. And all the things he's doing is that." He's like, "Oh, but so what? Who did you want to vote for?" I was like, my guy got hacked off in the primaries with Bernie Sanders and social agenda. So my guy's done. I was like, I'm just not voting for this guy,
Yeah.
regardless. But that's the whole thing. Was like it was that, and I had that conversation with one of my bosses on Monday, right? Where he was like, "Well, 70 million people still voted." I was like, you know what it triggered in me, and not triggered like where I was upset. Where I was like, "Oh, this is the Daughters of the Confederacy all over again,
Mm-hmm.
where democracy doesn't win, right? Like the democracy, I have to kowtow to like the least amount of people. Like, yes, he won 70 million people. He grew his base by 7-8 million, right? Because he lost the first popular vote by three. I think he got 60 to 70. So said 10 million votes. Cool. Still lost by 5 million. So you
Right.
got the most votes ever by a Republican, right? And then you go in the history books, no doubt. Still not enough to beat the most vanilla of vanilla candidates in Joe Biden.
But he is the
That
most
shows that this
establishment
country
of the
isn't center
establishment
right.
candidates.
100%. Exactly. And that tells you how much this country isn't center right, right? Because nobody can tell me what Joe Biden stands for that doesn't work for him. Like, you couldn't tell me a person that has a Biden Harris fucking sticker on their car to tell me three things that he's going to do. You can't, because he doesn't have anything.
Right.
It's just fucking platitudes and random speeches. Oh, I met John in Ohio and he said da 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 da. Oh, I met, you know what I mean? That's all it comes down to. But dude, like the way Republicans talk about this shit, it is like it really happened. Like they really got defrauded. Like, hey, bro, no, you didn't. No, like I mean, give me some proof. Like and there's none of it. They're in open court saying they have no proof.
Yeah. No. That's the
Like, what are we talking about here?
that's the part that you it leaves me dumbfounded because it's like you said. I don't want to vote for a fascist, and we talk about during the George Floyd riots wanting to use the military to
Yep.
quell protesters
Mm-hmm.
or potential rioters
With
with the
sedition,
U.S.
yeah.
military, right? He wanted to use the military
Yep.
to instead of the police, and the defense secretary,
Mm-hmm.
Secretary of Defense, said no, he disagreed with that. That should be the very last option. If you've gone through every scenario, that should be the
Mm-hmm.
last option. Of course, he was also fired after the votes came in. He was fired over the weekend because he's been
Yep.
disagreeing with him for a
Yep.
while now, especially over the George Floyd stuff, and for other defense officials. So that's one thing. He also said, let's put our political adversaries in prison, in jail. Let's throw the
Prison.
mayor of
Yep.
Seattle in jail. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
then, you know,
Mm-hmm.
again, this means nothing, right? You can say anything you want on Twitter, but you are the president of the United States and you say, "Hey, fraud.
Right.
We want this
We can
state.
say anything we
There's
want on
fraud."
Twitter.
And now
No.
it's just
No.
fraud because someone said it on Twitter. And you're filing lawsuits.
Yep.
And like you said, the transcripts from
Mm-hmm.
those trials or from those court cases, they've come back where the judge is asking the attorneys, "Where's the proof?" And they have none. They have no proof.
Mm-hmm.
But they're filing
None.
suits. So you tell me
Zero.
that do you not see where that looks maybe a little bit like a dictator? I mean, it looks a lot like a dictator, but you can't even see a little bit
Oh,
where that's
100%.
wrong. Where you're saying, "Hey, let's stop the vote counting here, but let's keep the vote counting in this other state because this one
Mm-hmm.
favors me, but this one doesn't favor me. So let's stop it here and let's continue it here." You just
I
nope. And then people want to support that, and it was funny watching those protests, right? The demonstrators in states where he was behind, but they
Yep.
were counting, and he was kind of closing the gap. And
Mm-hmm.
then in another state where he was falling behind, and they're like, one state they're protesting to stop the votes, the other one to keep the count going, and they're fine with that. I'm like, but you got people that voted Republican. You wanted
Mm-hmm.
to stop the count and not count everyone else's votes. You understand that that's how
Mm-hmm.
he won 4 years ago because of the
Yeah.
mail-in votes. But now that it's not going his way, he wants to
Yeah.
stop it with no proof that there's
I
any
don't.
fraudulent activity
I
going
don't.
on.
I struggle to like understand how it's just not common sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, whereas like, and I guess it bothers me more being Hispanic or Latino or
Mm-hmm.
whatever fucking denomination you want to give Latinos now. Not saying that
Latinx,
other one. That shit's just weird.
I just did.
Yeah, Latinx. Where like all these people that vote because you know like his support grew amongst Hispanics
It
and
did.
all these things, and mostly Hispanics that left like dictator countries and all this other shit. It's like, bro, you don't see the similarities, dude. Like, you don't think there was people that were sympathetic for Castro, like that sided with him. You don't think there was
Mm-hmm.
people sympathetic and applauding for Maduro or any of these other fucking dictators that we've had. Like, do you not realize that now you've become them? Like, and I'm not even saying it like to be a dick or to you know what I mean? Like it's literally what's happened. Like you've hated something so much you became it. Right? Like Cubans, right? What half of me is, right? Cubans are outspoken, can't let any dictators, any of these things. Also, the dictator isn't a dictator when you like him.
Right.
So that's how it differs, right? Like, and this has been a real realization for me, where Cubans and Venezuelans, you know what I mean? The
Same with my
ones
family.
again, the colorism aspect
Mm-hmm.
of, yeah, you know what I mean? Where they look at it like, oh no, but this I like this one. I was like, you don't think there was people who liked Maduro? You don't think there was people who liked who's the other dictator before Maduro
Chavez.
in Venezuela?
Chavez.
Chavez, right?
Yeah.
There was people who liked Chavez. There was people who liked Castro. There's people who were on his side. Not everybody left it in Mariel. You know what I mean? There was people who stayed. Maybe because they couldn't, but maybe they agreed with his politics. Hey, bro, guess who you are now? Guess what side of history you're on? Regardless, right? Like, let's say this whole thing smooths over and he just throws his tantrum and then he still gets out of the way, but his Secretary of State did go, we're transitioning to a second term. All right, whatever. Haha, not funny. I don't want my Secretary of State to crack jokes on the basis of authoritarianism.
Right.
That's just a very low bar for me. You know what I mean? We're like crack a joke. We're like, oh man, I ate Chinese food, and Kim Jong Un didn't like it. I'm cool with. I don't. You know what I mean? That's just stupid. That's classless and tasteless. But I get it. You know what I mean? Don't crack on the fact that hey, we're cool with. We're just gonna disobey this electoral college that got us the victory in 2016, but now we're saying it didn't get us because it didn't get us the victory. Motherfucker. Yo,
Holy cow.
can you hear me?
A miracle. I can no
Dude,
longer
that's
see your face. This is the best thing that's happened on this show since no, this is probably the best thing
I
that's
think
happened on
my
this show. I can still hear you.
legit. I think my
And we are back. Unfortunately, I can see you on screen now.
yeah, man. Yeah, dude. I don't even know what the fuck just happened. For some reason, just my ring light went out, even though all these things are connected to a surge protector.
Mm-hmm.
And just my mind you, my laptop was on. It was charging. The
Right.
camera that's connected to it was good. I don't know what the fuck just happened. That was weird. I was a little bit scared because I'm not a fan of the dark. But we'll move on. But yeah, man. We're talking about dictators and the conversations we have with family and friends,
Yeah, man. Like I was
or the
saying,
comments.
my family can't. They don't see it either. They just see all the great stuff. Oh, if Trump wins, it's great for Venezuela because of the sanctions that he's put on Venezuela. He's putting this pressure um, on them to
Mm-hmm.
essentially accept their president elect, and that's been over a year now. That dude just
Mm-hmm.
disappeared from the face of the earth. And I knew he was
Yeah.
a planted puppet too from the U.S. from the West, and
Yes.
they got close. I mean, they put some sanctions on them. They got close, but the dude's Maduro still has the military. He still has that. So unless the U.S. is going to actually invade or send troops or send people off the books,
Yes.
they weren't going to do anything. Um, I thought they were. It looked like for a second there he was. There were some whisperings and stuff. You could hear. I'd hear stuff and read stuff that maybe he was looking to leave the country, whatever. Nah, there's too much money. There's too much Cuban and Russian and other
Yeah.
interests in there, Chinese
Too
interests
much.
that are not going to let him do that, to give that up. They're getting too much money from Venezuela.
Yeah, that's the part. Yeah, that's the part that they never talk about, right? Because they don't know context and nuance or the history of how authoritarian regime, like, they want all the credit and all the money. Who else does that sound like? You know what I'm saying? Like, the
Yeah.
similarities are uncanny in every way, right? Like, it's not even like hyperbole and just shit talking. Like, just me and you was like, hey man, he's literally saying this. Like, it's not like, oh, we think he might do this. He's on fucking stage saying this shit.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
don't get.
And what's crazy is that, you know
It's so
what,
crazy, bro.
his the sanctions he put on Venezuela. It's true, they did put real pressure on that government to finally recognize the legitimate, person they elected, who was what's his name, Juan Guaido. But but
Yeah, Juan
that's the
Guaido.
only
Yeah.
part. That's the only part they see, that it would be a great thing for Venezuela because he would continue to put sanctions on them and put pressure. But the other stuff that he's doing in the U.S. within our country, all these things he's saying that I mentioned already about putting their political opponents in prison and using the military to quiet
Hmm.
protesters and all this other stuff that a dictator, a regime would do. It's like it's going over their
Yep.
head. They're willfully ignoring it, or maybe they're not
Yep.
even seeing it in their news because their news is, state-run media. There is a state-run media over there.
Dude, it's gotten so bad. It's gotten so bad here where, like, people, because Fox News, look, Fox News is like, yo man, he lost. Like, I was talking to my mom, right? She's like, well, Fox News is getting some serious backlash. I was like, for what though? Like, I don't, like, you don't. It's so weird, bro. And I guess, like, they didn't have the capabilities, obviously, when dictatorships rose in those countries at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But we're literally, like, we're kind of seeing it happen now, right? Like, almost the playbook is like, we're the there it is. There it is. We're the New England Patriots, and we have their playbook, and we're recording their practices. Like, we've seen this already. It's in
Yeah.
the history books, and they're running the same playbook. You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, I guess, like I said, I guess that's how it happens, right? Where people are just like, because I like this guy, I'm gonna allow that. There's no politician I like that, bro. There's no stranger, because that's, and here's the other thing. Like, a politician is a stranger. You don't actually know that person,
Right.
right? Because you saw The Apprentice. You don't know who that person is. I watched fucking The Wire. I watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which we'll talk about in a minute. I don't know Andy Samberg. I don't know Stringer. You know what I mean? Like, these are characters, but it shows, like, how easily people are willing and open to be conned because they like that person,
Right. Yeah. I mean, look, I'm not supporting the
because they
Democratic
say things
Party.
that they want to say.
By the way, I still think there's
Me
shit.
neither.
Like you said it many
Mm-mm.
times. What the hell does
Yep.
Joe Biden stand for, really? Like he just took
Couldn't name it.
Some of Bernie Sanders' thing, platform, and it just watered it down. So he took
Mm-hmm.
that to be really in it, like we've said, he an establishment figure, and kind of brought it back to the center, to the
Mm-hmm.
middle, so that it doesn't look as radical as Bernie was making it out to be, because people think that Bernie is going to make this country a
Yeah.
socialist, communist, like we,
Mm-hmm.
and yet all the other things that have
I know.
occurred and
I
have
know.
come out of the mouth of the current president, people don't make that connection that, that's Bernie he may turn this country into a socialist country. Who knows? But do you not see that there is an actual like dictator or dictator wannabe
Mm-hmm.
in the house right now, in the White House right now? Have you not seen what he said and what he's done?
Yeah.
And I wonder if they would
Doesn't matter, John. I like him.
acknowledge it if it was a Democrat in the House. If that was Obama, or
100%.
if that was Biden, and Biden had been there since 2016 and he had done all these things and called for the military to to put them in cities to quell
Arrest
protesters,
citizens.
and
Yeah.
called, to arrest citizens, to charge people with sedition, to throw politicians in prison because they don't agree with you, would they have would still be thinking the same thing, or no? We'd hear
Uh,
outrage from Republicans.
John, they said that about him. They said that about him anyway. They
Yeah, that's true.
called Joe. They called Joe Biden a socialist. Now
Which is funny to
they're
me.
afraid of Kamala Harris.
Which is, but
No
Kamala is
Republican can tell
Kamala's
me.
got some.
No Republican. She's got some she's got some shit, but she also is like she is in a weird way. She's like the child of the crime bill that Joe Biden wrote because she put mad motherfuckers away in California when she was the AG
I was
and
about to
like
say,
hid
man, I was like,
evidence and all that
Republicans
other
should love
stuff.
her. She's put
Listen,
more
I'm
black
not.
people in prison
Yeah,
than anyone they've ever heard of.
yes, exactly, exactly. But like to Republicans, she's like a socialist, communist. I was like, you talking about Kamala? You talking about Kamala? We talking about Kamala? We talking about the same Kamala?
Right.
Like, nah, bruh. Like she might have a couple words in there that you might not have liked, but she put mad black people away for having weed.
She
So let's
definitely
chill
did.
out. Let's chill out. She did her Republican job. It's weird. The projection and the propaganda of the Republican Party is honestly it's all inspiring, but I'm not an idiot. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, wait, that doesn't make sense. Like, you know what I mean? Like, again, like it always goes back to what me and you talk about. Just ask yourself why. All right, hold on a second. So you're saying all this, but why would that person say? Just a simple question, and that question tears away all the strings and all the bullshit. You know, like it's exhausting. Like I don't. I've watched it. Like I almost like microdose it, where like I watch like little things here and there just to know keep up with what's going on.
Hmm.
But for the most part, we talked about it, and you've been disrespectful when I told you when I asked you if you heard about Brooklyn 99, and you were like, "Oh, I have this crazy network you might want to check out. It's called ESPN. It's they have this they cover sports
They got this show
24/7."
that
And
covers all the day's
you
highlights.
disrespectful
It's
fuck.
called Sports Center. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd rather talk about that than this
you
bullshit.
fucking cunt. Listen, man. Yeah, that's it. That was it. I think we spent a good 12 minutes on it, and that was way too long.
Too long.
But yeah, dude, we have started binging Brooklyn 99. Did you put the Brooklyn 99 logo over my face? I feel like you did because you smiled, and I don't appreciate when you smile because you're kind of like Andre Brower. I mean Captain Holt with that shit.
You can't
So
tell if I'm smiling or
don't
I'm
put
sad. I'm smiling right now.
yeah, dude. He's the funniest motherfucker.
I'm
Oh my
so
god, dude, how stone cold faced
I'm
he is.
elated right now. I'm elated.
Can't you tell?
Andre Brower,
Dude, that
that's his
show
name.
is
That's right.
hilarious, bro. Yeah, dude, like I made a mistake because I'm on season 2 because they're 20-minute episodes, so they're easy to
Yeah.
fly through. Right, I'm on season 2, episode 12 or some shit. And if you haven't watched the show, not it's a fucking sitcom. It's a funny way of of cop and policing. It's just banter. It's kind of like The Office
Think
with
yeah.
guns and cocaine,
Yeah,
basically.
think of
Think you,
Law and Order and NYPD Blue, except funny. What's that? What's that movie
but
with Mark
but,
Wahlberg
but
and Will Ferrell? The Good Guys or something like that?
other
Huh?
guys,
The Other Guys. Right?
the other guys, the
It's
other
they make
guys.
fun
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
essentially like procedural dramas on TV. And they're not, it's not an hour long, it's
Yes,
half an hour, so they're like 22-minute episodes.
yeah, dude. It's so fun. Like the characters are hilarious. There's some that are like the least funny person. Sorry, is Terry Crews to me. Just because like I don't know, he's not as funny. Like the other characters are funny, but dude, Andre Brower, like how stone cold and monotone he
Yeah.
is, and in front of like all the funniest shit is hilarious. Andy Sam, like so they had that one famous clip which was they do like these cold opens right that are like 1 or 2 minute clips where and they had like a lineup where they sing where
Backstreet
the like
Boys.
people sing the Backstreet Boys. I want it that way, and then like it goes right in. They have like a literal roll of all the cold opens. It's like 17 minutes, all the cold opens throughout the seasons, and it's hilarious, man. It's all on YouTube, dude. So we've been watching that just because, like I said at the beginning, right? Like you just need something to give you a break from the madness of what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
Like this week, out of nowhere, we had a fucking tropical storm / hurricane hit us, like with no warning. Like Wednesday night, was it Wednesday night? Yeah, Wednesday night. Tuesday night. I get home at almost midnight from Gainesville.
Hmm.
Everything's fine. No alert on my phone. Nothing. Wake up at 7 a.m. the next day. I have a fucking tropical storm warning in my area. This storm that destroyed the mountains in Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua,
Jesus.
some of Honduras, like with the flooding and all that shit, is coming here that also hit South Florida. This shit just been bouncing around everywhere like a pinball. Is all of a sudden gonna hit us. So yesterday I wake up, fucking put all the shutters on the windows because I don't know how bad it's gonna happen. You've been to my house, you've seen all the trees, so I'm trying to make sure none of my windows get shattered. Put all that up. You know what I mean? Wife is running around, not running around, but like getting any extra stuff we need in case we don't have lost power
Right.
or all these things to, just keep our hurricane stuff up to date. So with all that, man, it's like, yo, we gotta like, and the fact that we're almost having a dictator, we're like, yo, let's just watch something to like decompress from all this shit, and it's the perfect show to decompress with, right? Like even if you believe he's not a dictator, or whatever, like this is just a show to watch because it's fucking hilarious. Like it gives you depth. Like it's not like the same show over and over. They give you introductions to the other characters, and like the combination of the characters change. So it's not just like, oh, this person's partnering with this person, and then this is what they're gonna do. You know what I mean? Like the characters are the same, but like in different situations with
Right.
different
Right.
people,
Right.
they change. So it's a good show, bro.
I I don't know. I'm gonna
Highly
introduce
recommend it.
Mel to it. I don't know if it's her kind of comedy. Like we used to watch.
What kind of
We didn't
comedy?
we didn't
What
finish
does what
watching
does
it, but
Mel
we
find
used
funny?
to
I don't think
watch
I've ever.
Curb Your Enthusiasm, right?
Okay.
Which was it's off script, right? It
Seinfeld
was created
writer.
by Larry David, yeah, the guy that created Seinfeld,
Yep.
but not the same comedy. Or Seinfeld was a sitcom. This was an HBO show, Curb Your Enthusiasm,
Better.
and it's
Yeah.
funny. It's funny too because again, they have it's not really scripted. Like I think 80% of the stuff they did was just ad lib. They have an outline. This is how it's supposed to go.
Yep.
They have some
Hmm.
lines, but they have an idea of how the scene's supposed to go, and then the rest is them pretty much improvising. And it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And if you watch the show, you'll see there are some awkward pauses, some things that happen, but these guys are ad libbing. They're improvising most of the time, and she liked that. I don't know if
That's
she
why I
would
like
like.
Talladega Nights.
Yeah, and like some of the comedy I like is just stupid comedy, right? I don't watch a lot of highbrow
Yes, 100%.
intellectual comedy, so I don't know
No,
if Brooklyn
I
Nine
don't.
Nine would be her thing. So,
That's
but yeah,
100% low, bro. Like I'm not a fan of like, oh, of course that was funny because Wall Street. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to
right.
fucking. I don't want white collar comedy. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, stocks and bonds. Ha ha ha. The fuck? I don't care.
Of course, it
No,
was
I
funny
want
because of the
stupid,
human
like
condition. Come
decompressed.
on, what?
Yeah, the human condition. Come on, everybody knows autoimmune diseases are funny. Like that's just a thing that happens. Doctor shit. No, I don't want to fucking hear any. Like, no, I don't want to like. I don't want to like look up medical terminology as I'm watching comedy. Like, I just want stupid, funny. Everybody gets it. Oh, either you thought this was funny or it wasn't. Like that's it. Like that's. I don't want to like. Oh, that's a thoughtful joke. I don't want a thoughtful joke. How about that? Like even like the high. I guess you can kind of say like Chappelle's kind of gotten highbrow ish. You know what I mean with like his commentary.
Right.
But like he goes, I can say whatever I want. I just got to add a punchline to it. Like, see, that's brilliance and
Yeah,
that's
that
genius. But
Saturday Night
that's not
Live
like,
monologue, right?
hey
That's where you got
man,
that
this
from.
is not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's like,
son, like that's some factual shit.
he's like, I gotta add a punchline, or else you won't be able to handle it. You're not ready for it.
Hmm.
I can't just give you
That's
facts
true. Come get these N word. Yeah, come get these N word lessons.
with the A at the end.
Yo, but
Yeah,
with the A at the end, never the ER, because that's safe for the Confederacy. Y'all can have that. Y'all
unless
can
you're
keep
Cat
that right
Williams,
there.
then he just
That ain't
drops
for us.
those hard
Well, man,
R's.
hard R's. Yo, but yo, check it out. Watch the first couple episodes with Mel. I mean, you could watch 3 episodes in an hour. So
Yeah.
if she doesn't like it, then you just be like, oh, you clearly don't know comedy or humor, and then you move on. And then you say you're gonna watch it with Javi because you can.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You can
I'll
watch it
watch
with
it. You know
Javi.
what
Yeah,
will happen though?
it's on
We'll still
NBC,
watch it
bro.
at night. We'll still watch it, and then she'll just hang out with me. Won't really pay attention to it if it's not her
Fall
thing.
asleep.
But
Yeah,
we'll hang. At least we'll be just there together.
yeah, it's a
So we'll see. But I just have a
absolutely.
feeling that it's. I
Like
know
I
the type of
watch.
show because I've seen it. I haven't seen it like you have, but I catch episodes here and there, so I know the kind of comedy that it is. I mean,
Hmm.
there's this fucking movie with Andy Samberg. I can't think of the goddamn name where he talks about he's like he wants to be a stuntman.
Did you see that? Oh, Hot Rod. Come on,
Hot
son.
Rod, the
That's Hot
stupid.
Rod.
That's the kind of stupid comedy I watch, and she'll just look at me and just like shake
Stupid.
her head, and I'm like,
Yes.
it's fucking hilarious. And I've seen it 3 times, and I still
Yeah.
laugh my ass off.
He had a movie with Adam Sandler called That's My Boy, where he was Adam
Yeah,
Sandler's
yeah, or
son.
Vanilla Ice, right?
Hilarious.
Yeah, it was
Stupid as shit. Stupid. Yeah,
stupid movie.
Vanilla Ice.
Yeah.
Just a stupid movie. Hilarious.
Yep.
Hilarious. Now
Yep.
there's some like I never thought like the Adam Sandler one where he was like him and his sister. I didn't that was just dumb. I didn't even want to spend time with that one. Like there's some humor that isn't funny because people are trying too hard.
Yeah.
But like Grandma's Boy is fucking hilarious.
Yep.
Talladega Nights is hilarious. Talladega Nights is another one that they ad freestyled and ad libbed.
Okay.
They gave like that. They just made shit up as they went along. You know what I mean? I like that kind of humor. Melanie hates Will Ferrell. Like she's just like, nah,
He
I'm not a
does
fan.
try too
But
hard sometimes,
dude,
man. He
like Adam
does.
Sandler makes he does. Adam Sandler has a cameo in it. Yvonne Longoria has a cameo in Brooklyn Nine Nine. Who else? Dude, you ever watch that show, The Closer, with Kira Sedgwick, where she was like
A
she
one
she
or
would
two
interview the people to like get
cold cases, like to close these cold cases or something.
no there was the Closer Cold Case Files, and then the Closer, which was there was like a spinoff of which is Closer Cold Case, and then the Closer, which was Kira Sedgwick is Kevin Bacon's wife, I think.
Okay.
I think they're still married, and she's in the show, and she's similar. She's like the female version of Holt. Oh my god, where they're both monotone and they're like insulting each other with the most like non-offensive things, but procedurally it's funny. Like to them,
Okay.
dude, it's so fucking it's hilarious. You gotta watch the show, bro.
But
So
it's a
anybody who's
drama. It's
listening,
not the closer. It's a
that
drama.
the Closer is a drama. Yeah,
Okay.
the Closer was a drama on TNT back in the day, where like TNT had like a bunch of dramas. Like, dude, TNT had one of my favorite cop shows of all time. I'm a TV aholic, bro. Let's just call it what it
I
is.
can't watch. I
Uh,
don't watch TV like that
they
anymore.
had this show called Dark. No, I do like we got to remember. Like I was when I growing up before we moved into the apartments. Like my mom would have to work, and sometimes she didn't have enough money for like a babysitter, and my family was always busy. You know
Hmm.
what I mean with their kids and shit. So like I would just be at home. I don't know how starting at like the age of 10 or some shit. I would just have TV. So that's like my refuge. That's my babysitter. You know what I mean? Like so that's just how it was. That's why like I could always watch TV. But TNT had this show called Dark Blue, one of the best cop shows of all time. That one, and then they had another one that was like based in California, which I can't fucking remember the name of, and it's gonna bother me. But I'll think about it and talk about it on the next show. But there's some good shows. There's some really good shows out there. But you know, so to close out Brooklyn Nine Nine, that show was originally on Fox.
Yeah.
But I read on the internet, and you know, of course, you got to trust everything you read on the internet. That's just the truth.
So it's true, especially on
That
Twitter.
Fox canceled it. Yeah, Fox canceled it because of the whole like beginning of the Black Lives Matter thing. You know, where people like were being against cops,
Hmm.
and like this show kind of makes fun of cops. So Fox, being owned by a conservative Rupert Murdoch, was like, yeah, we can't have this show on our network. So that's when they canceled it, and then it got bought by NBC.
Huh.
Now all the episodes belong to NBC. Yeah, little background on that.
Okay.
I'm not a nerd on TV at all, bro. If there was a oh man, that's listen. I was just about to be like, if there was a nerd, if there was a TV Jeopardy, I'd be on it. Just realized Alex Trebek passed away.
He did.
I'm
He did.
like,
80
well, I
years
realized,
old.
but yeah, fuck. Yeah, lost him to pancreatic cancer,
Yeah.
so that's a rough one. Saw like his 2020 thing, where like they did this final interviews and stuff like that. I was
Hmm.
like, Jesus Christ, this isn't something I should be watching. This is hard to watch. Like knowing that it's always weird to watch those things, man.
Yeah. That's
Were you a Jeopardy guy?
I used to watch it. Yeah. I used to watch it from time to time.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it in a
as a
while, but
kid, right? As a
yeah.
kid, I watched it a lot. Yeah, as a kid, I used to watch it all the time. It used to come on like at 7 or 7:30, and lead into like TGIF, like Boy Meets World and all that other shit. So that's when I used
Yeah.
to watch it.
Because I know before was that
Yeah.
shitty
So
ass
like
Wheel of
Family
Fortune.
Matters.
And at the time, I mean, at the time, Wheel of
Yeah,
Fortune was cool.
stupid
You're like,
show.
oh shit, Vanna White.
Guest
Okay, that was
letters.
20 something years ago. But
Yeah,
but I was like, all right,
yeah,
when is this
yeah.
Jeopardy coming on?
Exactly.
And then I would talk shit during Jeopardy the times that I would watch it
Hmm.
because I'd be like, why are you on the show? I'm in second place right now. How the fuck do you not know the answer to this
Yeah.
question? But
For
you know,
real though, man. That show was a good one. But yeah, man, Alex Trebek is gone, and it's crazy.
yeah,
It's
2020
crazy,
for you.
bro. 2020 is a monster, man. 2020. All right, brother. Let's end it here because you gotta go watch Argent. You gotta watch your second home
Argentina.
country, Argentina, Argentina, and Paraguay. Paraguayo, Paraguayo.
Are
What's
those
this
two are those
Paraguayo?
are those the two countries where all the Nazis fled and they've got like kids over there right now? Like
Yes,
second generation Nazis
100%. Yeah,
for sure.
hmm yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah. That's why there's so many. Think about it. If you really think about those countries, the Native Americans did not look European. So there's a lot of Eastern European looking motherfuckers
Dude, I haven't seen
in those two
anyone from
countries. So
Argentina that looks native. They're all like blonde haired and blue eyed. These motherfuckers like
none
they performed some
blue
kind
eye.
of
Yeah.
genocide over there because there were some natives in Argentina, but then the Nazis fled and now there's no more natives in
Yes.
Argentina. They're all white, blonde haired, and
Yeah.
blue eyed.
Yeah. 100%. It's funny how we always come back to like a
Hey,
random factoid that we know because yeah, I have never seen
that's why
like I
Messi
can't
left,
even
man.
think on the
You think, hey,
Argentinian
you
team
think
like
Messi would have survived Argentina? That motherfucker had to leave to go to Spain. Look how short he is. They're like,
that's
we
true.
definitely know you're not white. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. We definitely know you're not white. You're way too short. You're not 6'8". You think about like the Argentina team. I don't even think there's like a black person on there. Are there black?
No,
Completely
I don't
ignorant
think so.
question. Are there black people in
I
Argentina?
don't think so.
Are there?
Di
I don't
Maria
think so.
looks. Di
Right? Like, are
Maria
there?
is kind of
I'm gonna have to Google
tan.
like
Di Maria has some kind of like native, you know,
nah, nah. Di
to him.
Maria looks. I thought Di Maria looks Italian. Di Maria like has a descent
I
of
was
like
gonna say he's
Italy
like from
because
Transylvania or
of the
some shit. He
nose.
looks like a fucking vampire, but
Yeah,
but he looks. He has
but I can't think of like
darkness.
any. Dude, I'm gonna have to Google like black Argentinians after this
Don't
podcast.
do that
I cannot
shit. They're
think
gonna
of
come
one,
after
bro.
you. Don't do that shit. They don't want to be
That's true. They're
exposed.
watching. Yeah, yeah, that's true. For real, they're in the real they're in the real dark internet. They're in
Yeah.
the real dark web. God damn, I'm just thinking about that shit. I was like, dude, like, why don't they don't have a single black person on their team?
Oh, dude.
They don't have a single black person on their basketball team. Holy fuck. Like, yeah, like I'm
Do
just
you know anyone?
an all white country.
I'm serious.
Uh-uh.
In Latin America, in
No.
South America.
Fuck. Yeah, I know. Where literally every other country has indigenous people,
Right.
but somehow this one country has all white people. Little strange. I'm about to Google like, yo, I'm gonna research that. We're gonna look at next podcast. We're going into a deep. We're going John Oliver on Argentina,
What are
bro,
we gonna do
because
in
I
a
got
bit?
too many
I'm gonna.
questions.
You're doing John Oliver. I'm doing like Glenn Greenwald from The Intercept, the dude that broke the Snowden
Yeah, you could
story.
do Glenn.
We're gonna see how many
Yeah,
black
you could do the.
Argentinians
Which, by the
are
way,
there.
he quit the Intercept. He quit the Intercept because they censored his one of his stories.
Did he really? Yes,
Yeah,
he
like happened
founded the
last week.
Intercept. He
Yeah, he
used to
quit the
work.
Intercept.
He used to work for the
Yeah,
Guardian,
yeah.
and that's when he broke the story, and then he founded the Intercept, and he quit.
Yeah,
Damn it.
he quit because the editors didn't like his story about Hunter Biden, which like he didn't like the critique of it.
Hmm.
Like they put out the emails, the editor did, and the editor didn't say anything crazy. It was like, hey, we need some more like links and basis for these things that you're saying. And he was like, nah, fuck that. I'm not giving you anything. I'm done. I guess he had a lot of back and forth
Uh-huh.
and stuff like that. So yeah, like it's all like you can look it up on Twitter. I'll send you like he did. It's funny. The same day he quit, he did a podcast with Rogan. But like he did the podcast with Rogan first, and then he quit later
Oh
that
shit,
night,
that's recent.
where he did an
Yeah,
interview with Tucker Carlson. Yeah, dude, it was like 10 days ago. I
yeah.
want to say
I
like
was
right
watching that
before the
podcast.
election.
Yeah.
I want to say like that. Yeah, it was like the Monday before the Monday or Friday before the election. But yeah, he quit the Intercept. That's crazy. How fucking nerdy are we? That's the fucking Ranger shit we talk about, from Alex Trebek passing away to Glenn Greenwald, a random fucking
Hey,
reporter who most
he's
people
an
don't know.
investigative
Well,
reporter, though.
the government knows who he is.
Yeah, they definitely do.
Yeah, one of
That's
the
why he's
best ever.
That's why he's living in
One of
Brazil.
the best ever. Yeah, he can't leave. He can't leave
Yeah.
that country. They're protecting him. Cannot leave. That was crazy. He talked on that podcast with Rogan that he had like all his USBs and all the files with him at all times. I was like, that sounds stupid.
That
Like if
does.
somebody murdered you, all they'd have to like search your stuff and then they have everything.
Like, oh,
It
it's in the
doesn't
right
sound very
pocket.
smart at all. Fucking no right pocket, guys. Right pocket, left pocket, and it's wrapped around my body. All USB files.
Jesus.
Fucking dumb. All right, my brother. Go watch the game. Let me know if the all white country of Argentina wins.
I'll let you
And
know.
if
I'm not even
Messi's
gonna be
playing.
watching the game. I'm gonna be trying to spot a native or a black player on that team now. I don't even care what the score is.
You're not gonna see it. It's impossible, dude. I'll tell you like this. They did an Argentina thing about like how they cook in Argentina on Netflix. Did not see, not even in the crowd. You know, like when they do like B-roll, it's
Yep.
just like people walking and shit. I didn't see a single person of color. Not one, sir. They're
Damn.
all white.
They are.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, all of them.
Let me go catch this game.
This was this like an anti-Argentina rant, or we just factually stating that they're
Observations,
all a
man.
white country?
It's not just observations.
Observational criticisms. Yeah, that's all good. Oh yeah, and I forgot to hit record before we hit the podcast, so I'm gonna need you to send me the audio, my brother.
All right, then, man. I'm out.
Yep, that happens. All right, man. Peace.
Peace.